Beat Works here, come to you once again with One Piece chapter 1164 entitled Davy's Blood. So we have a very funny cover this week, of which it is a art request in which we see a very seasonal art request in which Perona is chasing down Rudolph, the rabbit homie from Whole Cake Island. And this is a play on Alice in Wonderland because Rudolph is playing the part of the White Rabbit as he is holding a pocket watch and he is actually a white rabbit. Perona, oddly, is thinking about Mihawk as she chases down Rudolph because they look very similar, which I think is hilarious. But what's also quite funny, and I don't know how canonical this is because it is a art request, but the Hollow Ghosts that Perona generates do have rabbit ears. So this is the first time in which the Hollow Ghosts have changed shape. So I find that very, very interesting, and I wonder if that's going to come into play in the future. So yeah, as you can probably suss out from this cover request, Perona is going to be the thumbnail for this video, obviously, to just cap off the Halloween season. But anyway, Emu is talking to Xebec as they have Xebec in their clutches. And Xebec says that Davy Jones was the first king of the world, or the previous king of the world. Emu gets pissed at this and says that Xebec is wrong and Davy D. Jones was no king. And Xebec is very amused by Emu's reaction, saying, "Why are you so scared of Davy and his will then? If he's not important, you shouldn't really care if somebody will come up with the same values as him." But what's so interesting is that he follows up by saying, "I wonder who scares you the most, Davy D. Jones or Joy Boy." Now, we did a video talking about how they could be the same person because I was hearing a lot of theories about that, and I was in line to agree with that, but now I'm not so sure. However, based on how Luffy is misconstrued in the narrative, and there are a bunch of rumors about him, and seeing as how now Luffy in Gear 5th does look different than how Luffy looks normally, and that could be a narrative ploy so that he can walk around freely and not be recognized as a Yonko. I could believe that Davy D. Jones and Joy Boy are one of the same, but Joy Boy is Davy D. Jones once he has unlock the powers of the human fruit model Nika and turned into Nika, which then through history the two get confused and people think they're two different people, but they're one the same person. I could see that being the case. I'm not sure, but it's possible. However, on the subject of rubber powers, if you could you please use your finger and stretch out and click that subscribe button, followed by another stretch to click that like button. And if you can, give that hype button a click. It is very much appreciated. However, on with the rest of our video. Now, as Emu has their niblets in Xebec, they have a conversation about the Giants. And Zebek's like, "No, Harold wants peace, you can't." And Emu's like, "Hoo, that's the point, idiot. Harold's a softie, so it'll make it easy to take over Elbath." And that's when the Dami Reversi takes full effect, and Emu says, "Put an end to Davy's dream." Now, people have been saying that this could be the will of D, but that's probably not the case because Davy D. Jones is also a D. So we still don't know what the D means. So this is a whole separate dream for a whole different individual. I don't think it's the actual will of D. I think the will of D is probably even older than Davy D. Jones. But yeah, continuing, Dami Reversi takes full effect and Xebec turns into a sick demon like Brocky and Dory have in the present. And his wings are a part of the cape. That's so cool. Oh my God, why is that so sick? Oh no. But yeah, he lays hands on Kaido in dragon form, Big Mom, and then he clashes with Newgate. And from that clash, it seems that the strongest man in the world is actually the biggest turd in the bowl, because Xebec wins out and actually topples one of the mountains of God Valley, which is crazy because this is the first time in which the silhouette of the island is being changed as long as we've seen it. So that's crazy, bruh. Everybody's trying to get away. And then the craziest thing of the chapter happens. So Zebek actually sets his sights on Eris and Teach. But you know who also sees Eris and Teach? Kuma. Right before Zebek can strike down his son Marshall D. Teach and his lover Eris, Kuma paw pats the both of them away. So we can all blame Kuma for the death of Ace. That is an interesting thought, isn't it? Oh no! Kuma being painted in the oddest of lights. The oddest of lights. Oh my word. Also, I don't know what's up with Eris's hair, because we get a good front shot of her in this chapter and her hair's all wavy like water. I wonder if she a dull fruit user. Maybe she has the mochi mochi fruit. Wouldn't that be something? Because I wonder why is her hair like this? It's all weird and goopy. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, no, Teach is saved by Kuma. The fact that that happened is wild. So, seeing as how he paw passed them away mid-strike, does he actually take the cannon blasts that were going to fall on Eris and Teach on top of Zebek striking at him? Or did he paw pat himself away at the last second? Something to think about. But that's when Imu commands Zebek to take out everybody on the island. Now, here's the interesting part about all this. So, Garp and Roger confront him, and apparently, which is a very odd contextualization of Garp, both Garp and Roger have the ability to hear the voices of all things because they hear Zebek pleading out to both of them to strike him down. So we were correct. I have recorded this before, but there was always a small pretense that Roger and Garp were kind of frauds, and the whole hero moniker that Garp was given was fraudulent. So this does kind of validate those claims that Garp being a hero is a fraudulent claim, and perhaps that was used to shut him up so he wouldn't say anything. But he could have been dumb enough not to connect two and two together and figure out that he's working for Satan. Maybe he still doesn't know that he's working for Satan, because the actions that he performs on the regular make me think that the drums of oppression, which is a fan term, is a joke, but it really does make you think like, wow, if he really does have the voice of all things, he does not listen to it very often because he just goes out and does whatever he wants to do on the behalf of the Marines. It's a little wild in context. I don't know, dog. Monkey D. Garb is coming off as king of the fence sitters, bruh. I don't know about this. Ugh. But that's the end of our chapter. Also, rewinding back up to the top just a little bit, Shiki is making out like a fat cat while the treasure after supposedly defeating Ganzu from the looks of it. And of course, Rayleigh is making out with Shocky, and the Roger pirates are trying to escape with the treasure that they have seized. So that's cool. And yeah, Captain John is beat up as well. So yeah, I wonder where Shiki goes after this. I guess from what we know, he just makes his own crew. And then we don't know what happens to him after the events of Chapter 0, because that starts the whole Strong World bit, the movie. We'll have to see how he's reinterpreted into canon after the events of Chapter 0. So that's something to look forward to, but that is it. Not seeing that there's a break next week, so that's cool. But with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. Whoops!